strongly caution, the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
Question number two.
But you got to know, let me just so you understand. We've been fed a lie our entire, I want to call it a lie. We've been fed.
It's a point of view thing, I think.
We've been fed Earth has been misrepresented to us by geologists.
Now, we know dark matter exists. Dark matter is invisible, so if I held it in my hand, you wouldn't see it. In fact, it would go right through my fingers, go right through the rock underneath my feet, and go all the way to China. It would reverse direction and come back from China all the way here to New York City and go back and forth. So dark matter has gravitational attraction, but it is invisible. And we are clueless as to what dark matter really is.
I found this photo, Grandmere State Park. This is from Joshua Nowicki, and what you're seeing here is a mirage. You typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night.
Brothers and sisters, this is going to sound hard to believe, but it's only because of the condition that you were in. From a very young age, you were lied to, purposely and repeatedly brainwashed of the truth and indoctrinated with lies for the sole purpose of taking your godly inheritance, your authority, and making you and your sons and daughters the objects of their sexual gratification. I give you this truth to free you from the prison of your mind. It will be difficult to accept, especially given the fact that you have become accustomed to the prison which enslaves you and your family. But as your Christian brother and the one who absolutely has nothing to gain except for your freedom, I would ask that you set for a moment aside your indoctrination and take the opportunity to free your mind, body, and spirit from the abuse inflicted upon you as a child. Rah! The earth is flat and has always been flat. Gravity is a lie and does not exist. The entire space program, which is the main proponent of the ball earth deception, is a lie, and man has never been to the moon. Your forefathers knew the earth was flat and wrote about it in their ancient manuscripts. Nowhere in the ancient recorded history is the ball earth an accepted truth. For all ancient civilizations, including the Egyptians, recognized the sun and moon as discs in the sky, not a ball. As a child, you were indoctrinated first with the lie that your ancient forefathers who colonized the earth were too stupid to recognize that it was a ball, unwilling to sail into the deep sea for fear of falling off of the edge of the world. And next, with the lie that the European discovered through the use of science, that the earth is a spinning ball flying through an endless space created by chance. The same people who created those lies and presented it to you as a child are the same people who now claim authority over all science, which they now present as truth above God. In effect, making themselves God. The single most compelling and most damaging piece of evidence against the ball earth is the fact that there is not one picture or photograph showing the ball earth in its entirety. Since the Soviet Union sent the first satellite Sputnik into orbit in 1957, there has been continued opportunities to record and photograph the planet Earth in its entirety. Yet not one picture or photograph has ever been produced that has not been found to have some sort of doctoring or editing. In almost 60 years of continued space exploration, with multiple so-called trips to the moon, as well as numerous satellites that have supposedly been sent into outer space, not to mention the many probes, rovers, telescopes, and international space stations equipped with all of today's state-of-the-art technology, there is not one single undoctored photograph of the entire planet Earth. That fact alone should give any thinking man pause. Staying on the subject of photographs of the Earth, the scientific community has changed the overall shape of the Earth at least 3 times in recent memory, the latest being to that of the shape of a pear, as promoted by the famed astrophysicist and leading space con man Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Chubby's a good one. It's like pear-shaped.
Yet in all these changes to the shape of the Earth, touted by the scientific community again, there exists not one single photograph or piece of video given as evidence to substantiate their claims. Second, to the non-existence of photographic evidence are the obvious and egregious lies and deception continually displayed and perpetuated by NASA and other so-called space agencies like SpaceX, and the fact that they continue to get caught in those lies, never producing a sufficient answer to the exposed deception. Why do we find videos of air bubbles in space when this is impossible in a vacuum? Why are there videos of scuba tanks in space? Who filmed the lunar module leaving the moon? Why are there no blast crater or dust covering the lunar module? Why were the astronauts not able to leap and run as if in lunar gravity? Why does the flag planted by the astronauts move if there is no wind in space? Why does the dust kicked up from the lunar rover not react as if in lunar gravity? Why do the photographs taken on the moon have multiple light sources? Why are the photographs taken of the Earth from the moon non-proportional to the planet's distance from the moon? Why does NASA continue to use green screen technology to produce fake space videos when they say they had the technology to produce the real actual footage? How did they manage to pass through the deadly Van Allen radiation belt that surrounds the planet? If space is filled with flying debris from the Big Bang, the smallest of which can cause significant damage if it hit a space station or space shuttle, how do they avoid this debris? Or do they just risk their lives every day sleeping in space, hoping that a space pebble doesn't shoot through the space station like a bullet? These are only a few of the questions that have never been sufficiently answered by NASA or any other space agency. The third piece of significant evidence against the bald Earth is the spirit, attitude, and the lives of the astronauts themselves. Anyone who has viewed the first recorded interview of the astronauts returning home from their historical trip to the moon knows immediately those men didn't go anywhere. There is more life in the eyes of a man who has been to the same place 20 times than the eyes of those men who were supposedly the first to ever walk on the moon. And if you have followed their lives or interviews over the years, you see increasingly depressed and angry old men, none of which have ever added anything of significance to the scientific or space exploration communities. They can't even remember if they saw stars when they were standing on the moon or not. What help could they be other than to further the lies of a deceptive organization? The single most compelling piece of evidence in favor of the flat Earth is one's own common sense. If you were not indoctrinated as a child into the belief that the Earth was a round ball, you would have never produced that concept on your own. Common sense says if the world was a round ball, that which was at the bottom of the world would fall off. In order to override one's common sense, a new concept outside the realm of sense must be introduced, like the concept of gravity, which cannot be seen, measured, or accurately defined. Gravity is a theory yet to be proven because it does not exist.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics.
Even Collins, who was left orbiting the moon while the other two descended on the surface, does not remember seeing a single star.
I don't remember seeing any.
Whilst
from
in
Mark
space,
Cameron. This is from Mark Cameron.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
So
all
because
the
you can
time.
see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there. And the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the Milky
you
Way
see
galaxy.
the Magellanic clouds.
Magellanic. See, I just wanted the
Well,
Magellan
there's a large
clouds. I
one
didn't
and
want
a
to.
small one, right?
Yeah.